You know what's fascinating about ancient religious texts? Sometimes what we think is meant for everyone was actually a private message to a very specific group.
That's an intriguing way to look at it. Are you thinking of something specific?
Well, take Romans chapter 5, verse 1, that famous line about being justified by faith. When you dig into the context, there's this whole hidden layer about who the we in that verse actually refers to.
You know, I've heard that verse quoted countless times, but I've never really thought about the specific audience it was addressing.
Here's where it gets interesting. If you look at Romans chapter 4, Paul specifically talks about Abraham our father as pertaining to the flesh. He's addressing people who considered Abraham their physical ancestor.
Hmm. So it's like finding out a letter you thought was written to the world was actually meant for a specific family?
Exactly. And check this out. There's this fascinating passage in Psalm 147 that explicitly states God gave his laws and statutes to Israel, saying, He hath not dealt so with any nation. It's incredibly specific about who received these teachings.
That really changes how we might interpret these texts. What other evidence points to this specific audience?
Well, there's this amazing historical drama involving the northern kingdom of Israel. In Hosea, there's a prophecy about people who were told, You are not my people, but would later be called sons of the living God. It's like an ancient family saga.
So you're saying these people who were cut off somehow connect to the whole justification by faith concept?
Precisely, these people later became known as Gentiles, but according to Paul and others, they were actually Israelites who had lost their identity. Think of it like a massive case of forgotten heritage.
That's fascinating. It's like uncovering a hidden family tree that connects all these different historical threads.
And it gets even more interesting in Isaiah 60, where it describes light rising on Israel while darkness covers the earth. Other nations come to that light, but, and here's the key, they're described as serving Israel, not becoming equal recipients of the promises.
You know what this reminds me of? Those old family recipes that everyone can try to make, but they hold special meaning for the actual family members.
That's such a perfect analogy. And it ties directly to what we see in Galatians, where Paul specifically addresses we who are Jews by nature. He's talking about this huge shift from law to faith, but directing it to a specific community.
The more you explain this, the more I'm seeing how much context we might be missing in other ancient texts too.
And that's why the letters of James and Peter are so crucial. They're specifically addressed to the 12 tribes scattered abroad. It's essentially a family reunion letter trying to bring scattered relatives back together.
So, how does this change our understanding of these texts today?
Well, look at Acts chapter 13, verse 39, where it says, All that believe are justified. This was actually delivered in a synagogue to an Israelite audience. The context completely transforms our understanding of who all refers to.
That really highlights how important historical context is when interpreting ancient documents.
And here's the fascinating part. In Ezekiel, there's this powerful prophecy about reuniting the northern and southern kingdoms. It's part of this grand narrative about restoration and identity that weaves through all these texts.
It sounds like we're really talking about a family story that's been misread as a universal message.
Exactly. And that's really the key takeaway here. These texts are part of a complex tapestry of history, identity, and belief. When we pull one thread without understanding how it's connected to everything else, we risk misunderstanding the entire pattern.
That's quite a powerful way to look at it. It really changes how we should approach reading and interpreting these ancient texts.
And perhaps most importantly, it reminds us that sometimes what appears universal on the surface might actually have a much more specific and nuanced meaning when we understand its full context.
God be the glory. Thank you so much for watching. Please join us every Friday. Lord willing, we go live 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Become a covenant servant. Visit our website to connect with us. We would love for you to join this ministry.